I'm here to talk about advanced SEO tips to get you to that top spot in Google. Now, if you have questions at any time, feel free to just write them. If I'm live and I see them, I'll answer them now. Otherwise, I'll answer them when I see them on the post. Now, I really hope you've enjoyed the SEO Boost Challenge. If you haven't done that challenge, that's okay. This talk will still help you. It doesn't assume you know everything from the challenge, but it's going to go a lot deeper. Because when I posted in the DNW group, I posted a month ago now, time has just flown with February being a bit shorter, about what people wanted to learn in the SEO month. There was quite a lot of people who wanted those more advanced tips, because there is a lot of stuff out there. How do you write to keywords? I think just in the travel blogging community, there are countless people who have written a blog post about keywords. But, no one really gets into the nitty gritty beyond that. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And we're also going to talk a bit about Rankbrain because a lot of people commented about that too, which is interesting because spoiler alert, but if you're doing everything that I've ever taught you about SEO, then you're perfect for Rankbrain. You've got no issues. It's become a thing that's talked about on SEO blogs more recently, but really it's just what we already know, right? It's nothing new. It's been out there. I think it was introduced in 2015 and it's been working for all searches since 2016, and we're 2018. So, you're doing okay with it. So yes, that's what I'm going to be talking about. And I think this is a really good topic because I know at the beginning, seeing your post go anywhere in Google and going up is really good. But sooner or later, you want those top few spots. There is a really big difference from ranking, bottom of first page to the top of first page. And not just a huge difference in traffic, but it can be a huge difference in earnings. If it's an article that's making good affiliate commissions, I find the conversion rate is much higher in those top couple of spots. So not just are you getting more people to your site, but a higher percentage of them are likely to convert if you're higher up. So, who doesn't want that? But first, I do want to just mention the live training I'm doing next week. I'll put a link to it below this in the comments as soon as I'm done. Or if you go to digitalnomadwannabe.com on the homepage, just below where there's a photo of me, you'll see a sign up for that. But this is all about SEO and affiliate marketing and using them together to make passive income. And, it is my exact strategy I've used to make over 200,000 a year from blogging. So it's really great. Me, it's going to be really hands-on. You'll learn a lot. It's not just going to be broad. I'll show you what you need to do. I'll show you my simple 4-step system for combining that SEO and affiliate marketing to make passive income. So it's really great. You've learned some SEO skills already because that will really help with that. But let's get back to it. Like I said, questions at any time. I can just see someone said hello. Janine. Hi, Janine. I actually wear glasses to see as far as my phone is, even though it's not far. But I'm way too vain to wear glasses on this. So just forgive me when I struggle a little bit reading it sometimes. But yeah. Now, first of all, everything we talked about in the SEO Boost Challenge, if you did it, is highly relevant to what we're talking about today with getting not just to the first page, but those top spots. And you just really need to do it better, right? So everything we talked about, you just need to do it better. Really show you're the best article, have the best meta description, get people clicking on it. So just to go over that quickly, and then we'll move on to some extra things. Keywords, you want to make sure they're optimized, but not over-optimized. So over-optimization is when you use a keyword too much. Now, as long as you are not even just a couple of years ago when I started blogging, I got more serious about SEO. It was like you meant to put it once every 100 words or something ridiculous. But even using it once every few hundred words, that adds up to a lot if your post is really long. So try not to do it. I don't really have an exact rule here, but one, don't follow your SEO algorithm. And two, if you're just using it naturally and just, making sure it's in that subheading and title, you'll be fine. You shouldn't have an issue. Okay. So, don't overly worry about over optimization as long as you're not someone who thinks you need to put it everywhere because you don't. Now, make sure your articles are up to date. And this isn't just something to do with one post, in an SEO boost challenge. Update your articles annually. Any that get reasonable search traffic, I update annually, right? It's really important. And actually, it's like the best way I know to get a boost. I usually find after I do that, I go like higher in the rankings, and it doesn't always stick if it's a really competitive keyword. But usually if it's a really competitive keyword, it's like a really good keyword that's worth money. So even if it's just a few months, I get to like 1 or 2 instead of like 5. Like it's a really big earnings win. So definitely, you do need to keep updating those articles. So that's about having the content up to date and just showing Google that you've put more effort in. So I aim for like a 10% change in articles every year, and it's really done me well, that tip. In fact, just that tip alone is like gold. Now you want to make sure that people have no reason to ever click back from your article. So say, you've done really well, you've got in that top 10 results. Don't ever give people a reason to go to your article and then come back to Google again, because that's like a really big indicator to Google that you didn't have the answers people were looking for. Okay. So, you got to remember Google's job, right, is to just help people find answers. So if you're not giving it to them and they're clicking back, then they're not going to keep putting you in those high results. So sorry, now I'm going to interrupt what I'm talking about. SJ just asked about how you work out ones that are worth updating. Okay, what I used to do is I would go through Google Analytics. I would search the posts in terms of their search engine traffic. So I would just look at the search engine traffic, and pretty much anything in general over 500 page views a month from search engines would get the update. Now I would go a bit below this, like say like 300 up, if it was a really good keyword from an affiliate marketing perspective, so a buying keyword. And if you don't understand what that is, like that's the type of thing that will be covered in the live training next week. But it's like keywords people search for when they want to buy things. That's because 300 a month still can get you like some okay affiliate earnings. So that's worth doing something with. But yeah, that's how I work that out. So back to making sure no one clicks back. Okay, there's sort of like 2 areas around this. So that's like making sure that you answer all their questions, right? Like whatever they want to know, like you give it to them. So there's a lot around that. But the other is also like around the usability of your site. So it's not really slow, okay? I mean, what's the stat I've got like from somewhere reputable? It was like if a site like takes more than like 2 or 3 seconds to load, that you do lose a whole lot of people. As someone from Australia where every site takes that long, I find that surprising, but you get the point. If you're not fast, you lose people. So that's really important. Just having a site look readable. I went to a site the other day from Google search. I had a freaking big video ad and I had to scroll for ages to get the content. I'm already clicking back before I can be bothered reading that. Like ads are an issue, and I know the people who love Mediavine don't want to hear this, but that can cause issues for sure. It's really hard to read an article when there's an ad after every sentence, so just be careful with that, monitor it. If you have posts doing really well, consider pushing back the ads a bit. I know you won't want to do that, but think about it, especially if you've got affiliate links in there, because it really detracts from them. But that's sort of a different topic. But you want articles to be really skimmable, okay? People are more likely to read them if they can skim them. No one likes to go to a page and there's a whole essay. It doesn't matter if it's 8,000 words, just make it easy for people to navigate. Lots of headings, images, really short paragraphs, a table of contents. Just make it really easy for people to scan down. So something I do when I write an article for any site, so even Digital Nomad Wannabe, where I don't worry about SEO, before I publish, one of my proofreads isn't a proofread so much. I just kind of scroll quite fast down the article and make sure there's no chunks, that it sort of flows nice for my eyes. And I recommend that as well. I mean, sorry, I know that sounds a bit weird, flows nice for your eyes. I think if you do it a couple of times, you will know what I mean. You want the site to look trustworthy. Now, it definitely doesn't have to be super attractive, right? That's fine. But it needs to look trustworthy and not ugly. Okay, so it can be simple, not ugly, and look like you know what you're talking about. Okay, hopefully you do know what you're talking about. But when you land on a site and you just get a bad impression straight away. When I've done niche site research, I've looked at a lot of sites, and it's like, I can't help but chuckle. It's amusing how many sites just look like they have grammar errors in their site description or something in their banner. So you look at the logo at the top and it's not quite right grammatically. So, you know, I mean, really, I'm sure all of you are going to be a large percentage of sites out there. So don't overly stress about it, but, you know, make your site presentable, make sure the text is a good size to read. Like, all of these little things really do matter. So you want to have internal and external links in your article. That's good for SEO. So try to get like one external link per article that's not nofollow, so to a reputable site, but not someone competing for the same keywords. Okay. I mean, sometimes you just can't really, it just doesn't suit. Like, don't force things, but that's what you should aim for. Now, meta description. Once you get to the top page of search results, like, you should always have a good meta description, right? But once you get to the top page, it becomes even more important, because not always, but usually Google will show your meta description in the search results. So what a really good activity is going on is, when you do searches yourself, try to analyze what you do naturally, what titles and meta descriptions make you click on them, what stands out, and then try to replicate that. So it's good for it to be compelling, you know, to like describe well what the article is about, and that should include keywords. Because if I'm searching for best restaurant in Melbourne, you know, if the article says it's about the best restaurants in Melbourne, it seems more relevant. You know, using the words that I use, it helps. So, because sometimes I hear people say keywords aren't important in meta descriptions. Maybe not from a ranking perspective, although I would suggest it probably is a little bit important. But it really is going to help get people to your article when they're 100% clear that your article is relevant. I'm not sure if I said call to action or not, but tell people to come read more of your article. What's really good now is we get about 300 characters to do this, so try to use them. Because this is a new change, many sites are not. So, you know, just having a bigger block in that search results for you, it's like more advertising for you, right? Like, use it. Make yourself stand out. So really analyze that. And what you really want to do too is look at your click-through rates. So look for your main keyword in Search Console, and it will tell you CTR, click-through rate. Then what you have to do is Google like what average click-through rates are for search results. Now, there's a lot of different studies. You'll find a lot when you Google it, and they all vary a bit. So it's a little bit annoying. But, you know, you'll get the gist for the position that you are. So look at what position you are as well in Search Console, what sort of click-through range is normal, and make sure you're in it or better. If you're worse, that's a sign that you could drop back in the search results. So really, if that's the case, really concentrate on your title and meta description and seeing what difference you can make to your click-through rate. Yes, so that is important as well. Also, something else to take into account with that though is that these are averages. Like I said, the studies vary, and some of that too is because of your keyword. So if you're ranking for a Greek keyword that lots of people want to advertise for, like, that's really good, right? Because you'll make more money on ads on your page, and there's probably more affiliate opportunities and stuff too, because more people are paying to advertise because it's worth money. But the downside is, say you're even number one for a keyword that has a lot of ads, there might be 5 ads above you. So you're actually spot number 6. And that means you won't get anywhere near the same click-through. Okay, so before you get too disheartened if your click-through rate seems lower than normal, take a look at the search results and see if there's lots of ads in there. Also take note, even if you use incognito or whatever, lots of things still influence search results. And a big one is where you are. So if you're not in the same country as the majority of your people, you know, like, you mightn't see any ads because perhaps you're not in a desirable country to put a whole lot of ads in there for that keyword, but maybe people in the US are seeing like a ton of ads. So that could be happening as well. It can be a bit tricky to work some of that out. But yeah, just keep that in mind when you're looking at click-through rate. Social media signals, so they help. Getting social media signals to your articles, getting them shared, liked, all of that, getting them on Pinterest, you know, it all helps with your ranking as well. I definitely have found for my posts that went really well on Pinterest, I ranked much better than I normally would for those topics, for example. And links, of course. Okay, links are just, it's hard to beat them. Really, the easiest way to get higher in search results is to get more links in many ways. And that's definitely, should be a strong focus, especially highly relevant links, okay? Links from articles on the same topic, or even better, try and link swap with someone in that top 10 with you. Now, I know it's easy to think, oh, why would they do that? That's not a smart move for them. But remember, most people don't know about SEO. They might have got there accidentally. They mightn't realize that that's not a good move for them. To be honest, I feel a bit bad doing that, but it's effective. I knew a blogger that was their main strategy and he would show off about it. So you definitely wouldn't be the first. But yeah, if you can get, even if it's a link swap, if you can get from their article ranking for that keyword to yours, and then you link to something else somewhere else, that can really help you as well. So moving on, all of that was kind of covered in SEO Boost Challenge, although not in as much detail. I also want to talk about, actually, I'm just going to answer this question first. Social media not important for niche sites though. No, social media is important for anything. Like, I don't use them on niche sites because I don't find it's necessary to rank. But if you are able to get a lot of social signals to a niche site post, it will help. But it's one of those things, right? The type of articles on niche sites, getting social signals for those are a little bit tricky. Like, that tends to be articles for other people who don't understand, like, buying guide for best juicer. You know what? It might be super useful and the best article out there, but it's not going to go viral anytime soon. So yeah, I don't put focus into that on niche sites because I think it's easier just to get more links, or if you're ranking how you want, you can just let it go at that point. But for blogs, usually you build up a good social media presence, so you may as well use it. And I guess that's really the answer, actually. It's more that I wouldn't just build a big social media presence just to get that ranking boost. At the moment, I don't think the payoff would be worth the time you put in. But if you've already got those social media signals and you can try and feed them, you already know how to make a pin and get some traction in Pinterest. You know how to put things on Facebook or whatever and get some traction. Use those channels you have. So yeah, I want to talk about relevancy now, because it's not really talked about very much actually with SEO, which is kind of crazy because it's really highly important. So there's a few different angles to relevancy. So one would be, if you're right, is to target keywords that make sense for your niche. It's always going to be easier to rank for an article when it fits your blog. Okay, because Google's made a decision. They're like, oh, your blog is about vegan food. Your blog is about travel with kids. Your blog is about blogging, whatever it is. So you're going to find it easier to rank when they find your site relevant for that keyword. Now, there's ways around it to try and make you more relevant, but in general, stick to the topics that make sense for your niche. From a branding perspective, audience perspective, Google perspective, every perspective, it's just better and easier. So there's that type of relevancy. Then there's a relevancy that you can sort of give your site an extra boost. So, say you write about vegan food and you start writing about different vegan dairy products. Now, when you just have your first one up there, you've got some relevancy because obviously that suits the topic of your site. But as you add more articles on that topic, like you covered other types of vegan dairy products, that sort of ups your relevancy for that topic in general. So that will help you rank more across all those posts. Or for a different example, say you're in Melbourne and you write a destination guide to Melbourne, right? Things to do in Melbourne or whatever. Now, I'm definitely not saying here to write more posts, so don't split up that things to do in Melbourne post into 5 different posts when it can be one big long one. Length, detail, all those things really matter. So keep to that one long post. But to give it a boost, you could write some more posts about Melbourne. So maybe you write, you mention the Victoria Market in your big guide. It's a really popular attraction here. But then you have a whole blog post on it as well, where you go into detail and you show you walking through the market and maybe have a video or whatever. That would add to it. Or you do your hotel review separate, but you have a shorter one in the main article. Those are the types of things to show you're more relevant. Or, you don't just write about Melbourne, you write about an article about the surrounding towns as well. That will up your relevancy for Melbourne. So all these things can help. Another way is relevant links. So, if you have your vegan cheese article, if you can get links from sites that are just about vegan cheese to that article, that will really up your relevancy as well, because they're like, oh, look, this site, just about X, link to them. they must be really good and know a lot about this topic. So that type of thing helps as well. So they're the types of things you want to look at with relevancy. Now, the final thing I'm going to talk about before I just talk a bit more about Rankbrain is that mobile first. Okay, so I don't think in the challenge I've even talked about mobile much, but it's really important. So mobile first is what Google says their search results are now. That it used to be different search results. Well, originally it used to just be desktop search results, right? They'd all be the same, and it was based on how your site performed on a desktop and with desktop users. Then there was different search results for desktop and mobile. And now they're like, mobile is so important that we'll base all our search results on what looks good in mobile. So mobile first. So it's really important that you make sure your site performs well, looks good. Like all those things we just talked about with making sure people don't click back. You want to think about that for your site on mobile as well. So if you're optimizing a post, it makes sense to go look at it on your phone. How does it look? Think about things like the ads separate to how it looks on desktop too. Is that just way too much scrolling? Like you don't want to have whole screens of ads in your article. So think about that. And everything else I mentioned, make sure it looks good on mobile, that it's not too slow and all those types of things. If your mobile site just really isn't working at the moment, it's going to hurt your rankings. So that's really important too. So yes, like I said, questions anytime. I'm just going to talk a little bit about Rankbrain and then I'll let you go. This has been really good. There's been a lot of people joining me live that seem to be sticking to. So thank you. I really appreciate it. It like gives me a boost and I feel like I do a better job when I see higher numbers. So like I said, Rankbrain's nothing new. It's been around for a while and it's about the algorithm sort of teaching itself new things rather than someone necessarily programming it, if that makes any sense at all. So basically it gets data from a lot of sources, Rankbrain, and then it teaches itself different ways to work out what results should be in Google. No problem, Lisa. Anyway, so it does that. So this is things like, it's much easier to understand with an example. So say people search for Melbourne, Australia, where I am. Sorry, it's on my brain. So they search for Melbourne, Australia. What do they want to actually see? Off the top of my head, I've got no idea. Do they want pictures? Do they want to know the weather? Do they want to know what to do? Do they want to know crime statistics? Who knows, right? So Rankbrain is all about working that out. So learning over time what people want to see when they search for something. So as you can see, if you're doing everything we've talked about already, you're making sure you deliver what people want to see when they search for a certain keyword, then you're fine with Rankbrain. Rankbrain does a pretty good job actually. That's why it can actually be quite important with a keyword to go Google it before you even write about it and see what's in that top 10, because that really gives you a good idea what Google thinks should be in a top 10 for that, what types of topics are discussed, especially say Melbourne, Australia. I know there was a thread in the female travel bloggers the other day about how they targeted Utah and how funny that was, how they'd had no idea. But I guess it's like no idea from every perspective, because off the top of my head I'm like, gosh, yeah, as if you could ever rank for that. But at the same time, how would you even know what to write about to rank for that? So you can go now and you can go look at that top 10 and it'll give you a really good idea. It is actually good to do that, because every now and then you'll notice that it's completely not what you would expect. And because, the name, it's maybe a TV show and not a place name. Or, if you're writing about a product, maybe it's a TV show or a place as well, and that's what shows up. So writing about that won't help you get in search results. From the other direction, it's also, Rankbrain is about working out what your article is about without telling Google. So this is why we talk about, you can certainly rank for keywords without using them in your article. So if you wrote about things to do in Melbourne, you could rank for Melbourne attractions as well, without mentioning it, because Google can work that out. But in saying that, it drives me a bit nuts when people are like, oh, you don't have to because it works it out. You 100% don't have to. You never have to do anything. But if you want to rank better, do it. Include that keyword. Because what seems more relevant to Google, right? The fact that you write on a topic that's associated with that keyword, or the fact that you include that keyword. So make it easy for them, make it a no-brainer, make it completely sure that you're highly relevant for that keyword and do include it. So yeah, like I said, as long as you've been following everything I've talked about so far, you're optimizing for Rankbrain. It's like I said, it's just really a buzzword at the moment. I don't completely understand why it's suddenly like, oh, Rankbrain. Maybe because it's kind of got a cool name, but yeah. So that's all I've got to say about that. I really hope this has all helped. To summarize, it's just about having the best article out there. It's that simple and that hard, because I know it's not like that happens immediately. But I can say with all these things, you do learn and they get a lot quicker. I used to spend so long writing articles, taking all of this into account or even updating them. But now I can just do it like that, right? It's just practice. You do get there. Keep using keywords, get more links. Really think about that relevancy and really think about giving people no reason to click back. Be everything they're looking for. Be fast, have all the answers, do all of that. And remember my live training next week. I'd really love to see you in there. You'll only get to look at me, unfortunately. And some slides and some examples and lots of other cool stuff so you can learn my 4-step system. But yeah, I hope you'll be in there. I'd love to teach you how to use this SEO to really boost your income and give you that success that we all want from blogging. So I can't see any more questions, I don't think. Oh gosh, I've pulled up, I don't even know what. Nope, but ask questions below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.